Entrepreneurship has been a part of my family for generations. In fact, my great-grandfather was an entrepreneur. He owned and operated a theater for people like him that was non-speaking. This was in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. And then along came my grandfather. He was an entrepreneur because he owned his own janitorial service. I was an entrepreneur because I owned and operated my own child care center. And then there came my son. One day, the principal made an announcement over the intercom, and she said that I'm glad that you all like to develop your entrepreneurship, but the middle school campus is not your selling point. And I thought to myself, who's selling something? I asked my students, I said, who is the principal talking about? Who's selling things on campus? And they said, Miss James, your son. I said, what? And come to find out, my son, operating his own little entrepreneurial business, was in fact taking the lunch that I had made him every day. He loves homemade fried potatoes, and I would fix him his fried potatoes and air fry his chicken nuggets, and I would put him in his thermos, and he was going to school and selling the chicken nuggets and fries. I remember one day, one of my students said, hey, Miss James, how do you make those homemade fries so good? And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, the fries that your son has in his lunch. And I thought, oh, I just cut them up and make them. And I wondered why, or how did he know what my son had for lunch? My son was selling the lunch that I gave him every day to take to school. He was selling that to his classmates for $4. And about 6 weeks after the principal made that announcement, I got a bill from the cafeteria. My son was, in fact, ordering pizza from the cafeteria, but selling my lunch. And so I confronted him. He was like, Mom, you always told us that entrepreneurship was in our family. I was like, you're right. You know what? I couldn't even argue with him. So I told him, I said, I'll make you a deal. Stop charging lunches that I don't want to pay for and stop selling lunches, and we'll find you another way for you to be an entrepreneur. It's really funny how I tell that story, but it just shows that all you have to do to be an entrepreneur is to have an idea and a market. And he had an idea and he had a market. But for now, this is for my grandson, because now my son doesn't need a lunch anymore. Do you have an entrepreneurial story, or do you know someone in your family who's an entrepreneur and they have an amazing story? I would love to hear, so share it in the comments.